Ross here. WTF! Forget about WTF moments, we're going for a massive rebrand. Welcome everyone to Fat Geordie Bastard Speaks Loads of Nonsense About Professional Wrestling Experience, hosted by me, Brian, the most Geordie sounding name ever. So yes, this was the Superstar Shakeup on last night's Raw, and Jesus Christ, didn't they shake things up? Not in a good way, of course, like the way you do when you give a baby a lot of milk and then go, ha ha, look at the little baby with all the milk inside of its belly before it goes, bleh, and spews all over you, right in your face. That's what it felt like watching last night's Raw. Let's get cracking with all the WTF moments, because there's more than normal. Would you Adam and Eve it? Maggle, 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 maggle. It only happens once a year, according to Michael Cole. Welcome everyone to the Superstar Shakeup. Well, let me tell you what you can do with that line, Mr. Reading lines off a sheet of paper experience, because that's exactly what you do. You can take that line and you can put it in the same file of absolute bollocks, where you can find classics of Survivor Series, the only time of the year where Raw and SmackDown Live superstars go head to head. We've literally seen the entire NXT roster move to Raw or SmackDown Live since the start of 2019, for Christ's sake, Maggle.
What'd she say? Say, shut up, Renee. What'd she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
Montreal boos the Lady Bálor's experience. Good. But then Renee Young pipes up, of course, the ooh and the ah experience of Monday Night Raw, because that's exactly what she does. She's supposed to be the babyface commentator of that three-man commentary booth, isn't she? But despite that, she pipes up and says, ooh, I think Lady Balls deserves a standing ovation. The only way that character deserves a standing ovation, young Renee, the ooh and the ah experience, is when that character is killed off Monday Night Raw. We're all at the funeral, we're clapping along and celebrating, because we all know we can't be castrated anymore. And then, to compound the misery, Renee Young, the ooh and the ah experience of WWE, then claims that she agrees with Montreal when Montreal boos Colonel McSweaty Bollocks, because of course, as we all know, Colonel McSweaty Bollocks is 10 times as worse as the Lady Balls experience, isn't he? He's not though, is he? He's a heel now, everybody. It all makes sense. It's fine. Calm down. After this, Renee, I'm asking one question and one question only. What are you? Are you actually racist against the red and the sweaty? Well, at least you're making more noise than just ooh and ah. And just in case you were wondering at home what on earth Colonel McSweaty Bollocks was shouting in French at the start of last night's Raw, well, I've got the translation here for you. It was, I am a sweaty bell end. I am a sweaty bell end. Babblefish for you. But then The Miz appeared. He's been transferred to Raw, which means that he has been transferred every single time there has been a Superstar Shakeup since the initial brand split, all the way back in 2016. In 2016, he went to SmackDown. In 2017, he went to Raw. In 2018, he went back to SmackDown. And now here we are in 2019, and he's back on the red brand. Bit weird, isn't it? Now, of course, during our wonderful reaction video to WrestleMania 35, somebody in this office posed the question, has Vince McMahon actually told Shane McMahon, who of course is the best professional wrestler in the world? That was some French. That professional wrestling isn't actually real combat. That it's simulated combat with those in the ring working together to ensure the most realistic looking thing while ensuring each other's safety. No! Well, wouldn't you just know it? That blood there came directly from the best jabs in the world. You know how they go. And the shock and horror of it all, Shane McMahon, the potato himself, throwing yet another potato. It's not real fighting, you sweaty bastard. So next up, we have the moment where they showed a promo package of Seth Rollins winning the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 35. Then we came back to that screen there, and what was heard appeared to be a gunshot, and I'm not sure it was intentional. Rumours have it that when Colonel McSweaty Bollocks arrived backstage after running away from The Miz, George Miz was waiting there, waiting to get some sort of revenge after being made to look like the biggest knobhead on the grandest stage of them all. Point. Now, these are unconfirmed reports at the time of shooting, but witnesses claim that George Miz was standing there with a spud gun shouting, I'm going to block out all the taters. Finally, Aleister Black and Ricochet have their bona fide Raw nameplates during their entrances, and that's a good thing. Cast your minds back to last week's Raw, of course, after Aleister and Ricochet definitely had their last NXT match ever, when the NXT nameplates, they were still being used. This, of course, suggested that those running Monday Night Raw weren't quite sure that these two bona fide world-class wrestlers were good enough to share a roster with Victor and Heath Slater. Anyway, and I think this is the first time it's happened since Ricochet's been moved to the main roster. He was billed at 190 pounds, and I know we live in a world where Ali is a thing, but surely mentioning that weight makes 205 Live redundant.
No, you tit! That's for the little men who aren't good enough to be on Raw!
Well, what a way to sell 205 Live that is, Vinny. Fastlane will be the Shield's final ever match. Please watch this pointless B-show pay-per-view because it will be an historic event. Here we are on Raw for what will be Dean Ambrose's last ever match in WWE. Never has there been a finer example of WWE banking on us marks, being stupid marks, and forgetting things that happened 5 minutes ago. Why do you treat us with such disdain, you utter set of cockwombles? Ivor and Eric. The Viking experience. Now, I don't know about you, but me stood here being a man in the United Kingdom, when I first heard the Viking experience, the first thing I thought of was being about 8 years old, being dragged in the middle of a random field by me mum and watching two fully grown men in fancy dress put on a demonstration to show what the Vikings did back in the day because they played too much Warhammer during their sheltered childhoods.
But look at them! They're big! They're Vikings! When people get in the ring with them, they're in for the Viking experience! Because they're not sports entertainers dressing up as Vikings, they're actual Vikings!
What a piss and shame it is that Vince McMahon saw at least one of those Viking-inspired entrances at an NXT TakeOver. Why, Triple H? Why did you do it? Now, of course, I fully understand why WWE had to scrap the War Raiders name. Just imagine one of the sponsors of WWE, a publicly traded company, tuning in to watch Raw, not having a clue what the hell's going on, and watching two big sweaty men make the crowd chant, "War! War! War! War!" They would think we're on for another Battle of Normandy or something. And I know that's not right, but I didn't do history, so kiss me arse. But why the hell did they have to go for the Viking experience, man, for Christ's sake? Yes, we know that Ro or Eric lives that lifestyle. We know they dress like this, but WWE, this isn't a case of Viking see, Viking do, for Christ's sake. Just call them big, hairy bastards, or something just as hard as that. For Christ's sake, this name is so stupid, you might as well have called them both Viking McViking face. But here we are in the supposed era where NXT is on the same level as Raw and SmackDown Live. It's the third brand of sports entertainment in WWE, yet two of the most featured superstars over the last little while have had their gimmicks removed and put back with something else. And in the same moment, had the NXT Tag Team Championship seemingly taken away because the Warhammer experience, those Viking men, are different from the War Raiders. That's how wrestling works, isn't it? Now, I know it's just a name, and of course it's more about what they do in the ring and in storylines, but they're in the Raw Tag Team division, a division that's been more of a joke than my life in recent times, so they're dead. Goodbye, Eric and Evi. Goodbye, Hanson and Rowe. Bye. And next up we have Maggle Cole, who of course said, "How cool was that, guys?" in the seconds after Triple H's entrance at WrestleMania 35, rendering that pretty cool entrance not cool whatsoever, saying the following line: "Viking Experience is a pretty fitting name for those two." Well, if that's the case, Maggle, maybe we should rename you Unbearable Tourette's Nerd, because that's exactly what you are. And now it's time for this.
Wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank. Wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank.
Hello everyone and welcome to Wankety Wank, the section of WTF Moments where you point out a mistake I've missed and I give you all the credit because I'm a wholesome human man. Thanks to Ryan Wood for pointing this out, and I have no idea what it means, but he's used Viking words that belong to the Vikings, so I believe him. And here's another corker of a line from the Unbearable Tourette's Experience live on Monday Night Raw. Do I really want to call him that? I've gone for it. Here comes Eric. I mean Ricochet. Because that's an easy mistake to make, isn't it, Maggle? Eric, Ricochet, they're basically the same word, aren't they? So when you're a Viking, tags mustn't count because that one there was made. John Cone, the referee, shouted, "Tag!" Yeah, Eric. Just call him Ro. Eric didn't get into the ring. And I know why, everybody. It's because he's deeply ashamed of being called Eric. Is anybody else waiting for that man there to be Mustafa Ali and have a name taken away, leaving him to be Cedric, the sports entertainer? Ha ha! Won't that be so cool, guys? Shoot me in the face. So then we have Andrade moving to Monday Night Raw, and Zelina Vega claims he'll address the crowd in their native tongue because he speaks many languages. But then Andrade speaks Spanish, and I think WWE were trying to say that Andrade was disrespecting the language of the French by having him speak Spanish, but the way they did it, it just came across as Andrade thinking the people in Montreal actually speak Spanish. I mean, of course, I bet he couldn't give two hoots. He's just been on holiday with Charlotte Flair. He's winning. Really good thing, Corey. Corey Graves labelled that handspring thing Andrade did beautiful and effective. He called it Bay. Ah, with WrestleMania 8 nights away, Michael Cole, that's what you normally say when something is 8 nights in the future, not 8 nights in the past, you massive plum. Kurt Angle, the Hardy Boys, and now Ronald Mysterious have all been fiddled by the Freak, which means that Lars Sullivan is now just a pose and a theme change away from being the Legend Killer.
Say nothing you can say, nothing can change what you've done to me.
It's the Superstar Shakeup. We were told all piss and night tag teams. They could be split up. We were told all piss and night. Why the hell is that tag team there not being split up? Why is that tag team still a thing when they're just so clearly better off on their own?
Dun 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 dun.
Kevin, you buck-toothed tit. The Usos, the biggest tag team perhaps of the last 10 years in WWE, are mere seconds away from making their shock trade to Monday Night Raw, and you put that on the screen, ruining what would be, up to that point, the biggest trade of the night, maybe. Kevin,
Do not press the
Usos button.
press.
Usos button. Really good thing, Corey. So next up we have Corey Graves comparing Gable and Roode getting a massive win over the Usos to a slump buster. And that's just bloody fantastic. Now for those of you at home who do not watch Impractical Jokers, a slump buster is when somebody is having trouble getting laid. They are said to be in a slump. And when you're in that slump, you need an easy score to get your confidence back up and break the slump. A slump buster. So basically, Corey Graves was saying Gable and Roode should shag the Usos to get their confidence back up. So next up we have the Soul Patch Arsehole Experience himself, Michael Cole, claiming that the Usos won the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match at WrestleMania 35. And in that moment, the Soul Patch Arsehole Experience insinuated there was only one Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match at WrestleMania 35. Forza, the Women's Revolution. And next up we have Alexa Bliss claiming that she can speak for all of the Quebecers when she claimed it's fantastic to see Sami Zayn back on Monday Night Raw. All of them? You're making it sound like there's more than two of them, Alexa. And technically, there's only one now, since one of them's a 50-year-old Frankenstein. It's not exclusive to WWE.com if it's being shown live on the USA Network on WWE Raw. How many times have we been through this, man, you bloody Wazzicks? You flying drongos? Sort it out, man. So Sasha's not taking Bayley's calls now, which means that WWE are shooting themselves down into a work instead of working themselves up into a shoot. If the rumour in the endo is correct, of course, which it might not be, but let's presume it is because we're all hacks. How fitting was it that WWE did that while they were showing the highlights of the main event of WrestleMania 35? 1, 2, 3 was heard, but that is what we saw. We know what really happened. EC3 getting an entrance.
The end is nigh, the end is nigh.
But not with Drake Maverick.
Time to run away, the end is nigh, nigh.
Why the hell would you tease those two getting back together on a dark match before last week's SmackDown Live and then not do it a week later on Monday Night Raw when they've proven year after year after year in Impact, that's a real thing by the way, WWE, they do wonders together. And to all the EC3 fans out there, there's no easy way to say this, but it appears that on last night's Raw, EC3 was Muhammad Hassan. Ethan Carter III was murdered by a wrestling move through a stage. And I tell you what, never mind being traded from NXT to Raw or whatever, EC3 in that moment was traded from Raw to a massive grave which is located in a massive flaming dumpster fire bin. Now as we all know, Sanity died a long time ago, but seeing also Eric Young there on that screen there with no fanfare whatsoever confirms it, and that's sad. And next up we have Natalya. Now shush, don't tell anybody this, but she's related to Bret the Hitman Hart. Nobody's mentioned that ever. She claims that she's the best there is, the best there was, and the best ever will be. You're not, man. You're Natalya. and you like cats.
What'd she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
So next up we have Renee reacting to Lacey Evans' little slant towards Natalya, and she's like, how? Lacey, don't talk to Natalya like that. She's been here for ages. She deserves respect. Tamina Snuka debuted in WWE on May the 24th, 2010. So that point, Renee. Now, I mean, there's natural poses. And then there's that. I don't mind me here, just standing, looking side on with me 2 titles, making sure the 2 WWE logos are in full sight for everyone to see for a lovely photo opportunity. So comfortable.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
I wouldn't do that in Montreal, Corey says. But Corey, Natalya's the one stood up with the move locked in. She's applying the move. How the hell can she be screwed when she's the one doing the move? God! How lucky can you be? Charlie Caruso stood there saying, I'm hoping to get some insight as to who the third man could be from the Big Dog and Seth Rollins. And wouldn't you just know it? She knocks on the door and who appears? It's the Big Dog and it's Seth Rollins. How lucky is that? That locker room must have several hundred male wrestlers in. And those 2 appear amazing. And as we all know, Alan's theme talks about people not wanting none, but it's clear for all to see. He is gagging for some right there because he opens the door really early, not when he's supposed to. You can see the print on the glove. It's definitely him. I'm not just guessing because I know what's coming up later on. That was definitely him. But even though Charlie Caruso clearly saw who it was because she looked when the door was opened, she still acts like she doesn't know who it's going to be. And I just think that's astonishing when you consider the track record Charlie has for stirring that bollocks backstage, the little Jezebel. Paige here! But on a more serious note, either Bray Wyatt is coming back with a new gimmick as a little girl who lives in an attic on her own in The Shining or something, or, and I hope this is true, we're actually getting a Sister Abigail. And we round off all these WTF moments from the Superstar Shakeup with another trip to the oh my experience because he legitimately asked about WWE fans who might not be aware of who AJ Styles is. AJ Styles, 371 days as WWE Champion, just about at the top of the card all the way through from 2016. People might not be aware of who he is, apparently, and I am done with life. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us.